Welcome to the Mr. Asim recapped movies, and the movie name is The Midnight. Let's start with the explanation. The film begins with a scene in a movie theater. There, the three friends were discussing that it is too late, now we have to start the movie. A girl named Bridget among those friends. Then a couple arrives there on the bike, they move to the counter to purchase tickets. Then the younger brother of Bridget, Timmy, also goes there to buy tickets. Means he was also there to watch a movie. But the friend of Bridget refuses. He says that below 18 kids are not allowed to watch a movie at night. Then the sister of that kid Timmy also arrives there, she asks him to go home. Then the best friend of Bridget also arrives there, his name was Josh. He insists Bridget watch a movie with him. So, they go and sit in the hall. Meanwhile, Josh's friends also come and sit with them. There we are also shown a detective who was there in search of a serial killer. The serial killer whom he was searching for, his name was Red. After some time, one more friend of Josh arrives in the hall. The female friend of Josh says that the movie which we are going to watch, that movie is 400 years old. There were murders held of the people in reality. They were talking about that serial killer Ted whom the detective was searching. The detective also buys a ticket for the movie from the counter. With it, he also asks about a man while showing his picture. They don't know about him. After it, Bridget's friend plays the movie. It is shown in the movie that some friends were going somewhere in the car, but suddenly tire of their car punctures. Then a boy among those friends goes to a nearby house for help. A lady opens the door for that boy. In the hall, one more detective comes and sits with that detective. We see a strange man in the movie. He was having a tool in his hand, and he was making it sharp. Both detectives were talking that since that serial killer Ted is missing. This is my first movie. That strange man in the movie was wearing a mask. He kills that boy in the car, and takes him with him. We see on the counter that the drink was finished. So, Bridget's friend goes to a place to take a drink. Seeing that movie, Bridget gets scared. That's why she comes outside. While leaving the movie, there Josh makes her relax and asks her to come inside. Then suddenly Bridget's friend who was gone to take the drink seen in the movie. The people who were seeing the movie in the hall, they get shocked after seeing it. Then Bridget's friend hears some voices. Then as he begins to run from there, that serial killer Ted comes in front of him. He kills him brutally through his tool. But the people in the hall don't shock at it, because they were taking it as a part of the movie. They were enjoying themselves while seeing the movie. Then after some time, Josh's friend goes to the washroom. That same scene was showing in the movie. The killer kills him in front of them. Then after hearing his shouting voice, Bridget's friend goes to check him. There she sees blood on the floor. Then in the movie, we are shown the counter of that same movie hall. Here Bridget's friend was standing alone. Seeing it, they all get scared, and they come outside to check. But they didn't find anybody on the counter. After it, they all go to the washroom, and they also find blood there. They get scared after seeing it. Now they were trying to come outside from there. Then the detective finds the younger brother of Bridget named Timmy. Bridget asks her brother how he came inside. On it, Timmy says from the windows. The detective was breaking the door to escape from there, but he couldn't. He couldn't break the door. After checking, they come to know that there were no mobile signals. Then Bridget tells them that there is an emergency door here. They try to open that emergency room, but it couldn't open because it was locked. Now they all get more scared. Because they were stuck there, the detective tries to make them understand that if we want to be safe, we have to stay together. He tells them about the incident that was held 5 years before. He tells that there was a patient named Ted in a mental asylum. He was watching a movie about a serial killer for many years. He cut his hand while seeing the slashing movie of the serial killer. Then he writes something on the floor with his blood. He disappears from there. In the morning, except for blood, there was nothing visible in that asylum. Actually, Ted was a serial killer now. He was an insane serial killer. He killed everyone in the hospital, and then ran from there. When they all were talking about the serial killer, Bridget's brother Timmy goes into the hall. That killer sees him, but he doesn't kill him. He throws him in front of all. He also comes in front of them. Then the other detective tries to understand the killer. "See, relax down, we will make everything fine." But Ted is mad now. He was now the serial killer completely. So, he cuts the neck of the detective. When the other detective notices this, he shoots him. He falls in the hall. Now in the movie, he was taking the detective's dead body with him. Then they all were running toward a room. They try to go outside from that window from where Bridget's brother came inside. But that window falls on the hand of Josh's friend, due to which she gets injured and starts shouting. While listening to her shouting voice, the serial killer arrives there. There the detective shoots the serial killer. But that bullet didn't affect that killer. The troubling thing was that the bullets of that detective were also finished. Seeing all this, Josh's friend gets scared. So, after getting a chance, he runs from there. The killer was dissecting the body of that detective. With it, he also kills Josh's friend. Then in the movie, he was taking the dead body of Josh's friend with him. In the movie again, we are shown that lady which opened the door for that boy. That lady was the mother of the killer. She was also insane like the serial killer Ted. She says to Ted that you have done a good job, that you took one more friend with you. They come outside while running. They were planning about how to stop and kill that killer. On it, Bridget says that if we want to stop killer, we have to stop the movie first. When they try to go into that projector room, its room was locked. They think to move inside through the projector window, but the path of the projector window was small, so they send Timmy inside. When Timmy was moving forward, that killer sees him. But arriving there, Josh attacks that killer and asks Timmy to move forward. Timmy somehow reaches the projector room. On the other side, the killer was moving towards Josh to kill him. Timmy takes out the plug of the projector. But that projector stays on. Then to call them inside, Timmy opens the door. The male of that couple falls that projector. Josh escapes from the killer, and he goes from there. The male of the couple picks up and sees the reel of the movie. Here he comes to know that the killer wasn't dead, but he was still alive. That projector again turns on automatically. Now that killer was chasing the male of that couple. He kills him badly. Those all survivors move in the hall. In the movie, the killer and his mother were together. Killer asks his mother that anybody is fearing of me out the movie. Hearing it, the mother of the killer sees outside the window. She tells him that there is a girl outside, but she is not scared. Seeing it, Josh understands the whole thing. He tells them that killer can feel our fear. Then killer kills one more friend of Bridget. He was also taking his dead body with him. Seeing it, Bridget becomes sad. Josh's friend gets scared after seeing it, and he goes out of the hall. When the killer sees that Timmy is alone, he chases him. But then Timmy runs from there, and he collapses with Josh's friend. And now the killer holds Josh's friend. Here the killer puts his tool in the electricity. They feel the electric shocks. Josh's friend burns and dies because of the current. But that current didn't harm killer. Josh was in anger, and then he goes to kill that killer. But then that killer disappears from there. That's why Josh returns back to the room. He gets shocked by whatever he sees there, because that killer had made Bridget a prisoner. He was about to kill her. Then the killer throws his tool towards Josh and blown out his eye. Seeing it, Bridget gets scared. She runs and comes to a room. She locks herself there. She was scared because of Josh's condition. Now the killer was chasing Timmy. He was searching for him everywhere. Timmy was hiding in the hall. Meanwhile, Bridget also arrives there. She makes his brother understands we should not scare him, because our fear is our weak point. And if we will not scare of that killer, we control our fear that the killer can't harm us. Then they both siblings close their eyes and sit in the hall. She makes his brother understands we should not scare him, because our fear is our weak point. And if we will not scare of that killer, we control our fear that the killer can't harm us. Then they both siblings close their eyes and sit in the hall. Now the hall and those siblings are shown in the movie. The killer sees them and arrives there. He tries to sacre them. But now because they closed their eyes, so they didn't feel fear. After seeing it, when that killer was moving from there, Bridget opens her eyes with fear. The killer knows about it, and he takes Bridget with him in his movie. Bridget finds herself locked in a room where the killer was sharpening his tool. Then somehow Bridget comes out from that room. She sees that many peoples are locked as prisoners in a room. They were all injured and some were killed in them. That killer had done this. There Bridget sees Josh and he was alive yet, so she goes to him. But then the mother of the killer comes there and faints Bridget. When Bridget comes to her senses, she finds herself tied. He sees that her brother is also tied with her. The killer comes to Bridget and says that I will not give you an easy death. I will kill you while giving you pain. Saying it, he starts pulling her foot's nails. Due to it, she shouts a lot in pain. The killer pulls her nails of foot one by one. When the killer pulls the nails off her other foot, she doesn't afraid, and she doesn't shout. She bears this pain and controls her fear. Seeing it, the killer gets aggressive that she is not fearing from me, and she is not feeling pain. That's why the killer throws her down. Meanwhile, Bridget finds a sharp thing. Getting a chance, she stabs that killer. Then she comes out while taking Timmy with her. But before they move out, killer's mother holds Bridget. She tries to kill her while pressing her neck, but then Timmy attacks that lady from the backside and kills her. Then they come out of the house and start running, but the killer hadn't left them yet. He chases them. While running, Timmy's foot slips and he falls down. Bridget lifts up her brother and shouts loudly. Because the movie of the killer was ended, here to save her brother, he throws him outside. Like this, Timmy's life was saved because he was out of the movie and he is in that movie hall. And here that movie ends. The projector stops. Here the movie was ended, but Bridget was still in the movie. She was stuck in the movie. After some time, police arrive there and Timmy tells them the reality. Because he was a child, no one believes in him now. Here this movie means Midnight Movie ends here. Thank you for watching.